Hey y'all, I'm Beth, and I am your Jeff and Lynn O'Grady pastoral resident for theology and culture. It has been such a gift to be with you all during this season of ministry, and 2024 was full of firsts, full of new opportunities to learn how to engage in pastoral ministry and take on different projects, from small groups to young adult ministry to some special projects that we got to do all together. Some of you might remember our Making Like a Christian project, which went along with our Lenten sermon series, Sinning Like a Christian. And we had the opportunity after worship every week in Lent to co-create together. There were different projects that we worked on in the courtyard. All were welcome. This was an intergenerational opportunity to engage our faith in a different way, in a way that maybe a lot of us were not used to. And you all took a step outside of your comfort zone, and you leaned into your God-given creativity. And that was really, really cool to see. One of my favorite memories from this project was assembling the final piece called It Is Finished, which some of you might remember from our Maundy Thursday Good Friday service when the passage about the veil ripping in two in the temple was read. We actually ripped pieces of paper, different colored pieces of paper. And what happened with those pieces of paper was on Holy Saturday, myself, Haley Horn, and one of the girls from our 8th grade small group, Dana Morris, got together in the church lounge and we reassembled them into a collaged piece that depicts the empty tomb and a sunrise over it. And it was this really special moment, not a whole lot of people got to see that, but it was this moment where it was intentionally intergenerational, and this moment of co-creation and being creative together and engaging our faith in a way maybe we're not used to. And it stands out as definitely one of my favorite moments from this season of ministry. And I can't wait to see what 2025 has in store for more experimentation and more creativity and more opportunities for intergenerational ministry.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Happy Corner here at San Marino Community Church Nursery School. Here at the nursery school, we can say we have been blessed with a very successful school year, full of a lot of achievements, starting with full enrollment, creating the most developmentally appropriate practice program for our students and our staff, our families, as well as practicing our developmentally appropriate practice by remodeling this room and have it available for our little ones to enjoy, and move it from being a staff lounge / storage room to be a big classroom full of opportunities for love and laugh and play. We appreciate the church support during this process. Our staff love their lunch, our little one loved their new room. Thank you.
All right, this is a little weird. Normally I'm behind the camera, but here we are. Let's fix the picture, yeah? Turn on this light. Give it some color. That's better. All right, let's talk about the biggest thing we tackled last year, the Sanctuary sound system. The old system had 16 speakers, 10 in the house and 6 in the chancel, designed with a more is more approach, which didn't quite work out. If your favorite seat was in the wrong spot, you either got too much sound or not enough sound. In fact, the difference in SPL between the quietest and loudest spots measured was as much as 9 decibels. For reference, a 6 decibel increase doubles the sound pressure level, and we as humans perceive a 10 decibel increase as twice as loud. In other words, at the quietest spot we measured, the volume was nearly half of what it was at the loudest spot, making for a very inconsistent listening experience. So we did what any reasonable church would do. We took measurements, we built 3D models, and we ran simulations. And for the new system, we landed on 6 speakers. 6. And somehow it sounds way better. You can hear everything with perfect clarity, whether you're in the very first or the very last pew. Now everyone, congregants, choir, clergy, gets to experience the services as it should be. Clear, balanced, and without any so-called dead zones. But that's not all. We also introduced simultaneous Mandarin interpretation.
Good evening, my friends. Welcome. 各位朋友们，晚安，欢迎来到我们。
Our social media and podcast game has been stronger than ever, and because you've been keeping up, you know that we've been filming and sharing all of our special events like Palm Sunday and Christmas concerts. And for all the big events featuring our little stars, such as nursery school concerts, graduations, and our nativity pageant, we set up IMAG, which means that we put the biggest screens we have to put the tiniest performers into the spotlight. So yeah, it's been a big year. Lots of the technical stuff, but all with one goal: making worship and all the things happening here at Community Church more accessible and more enjoyable for everyone. And there's more to come. Thank you.
For the last 3.5 years, I have emphasized the power of showing up for our students here at San Marino Community Church. In order for the kids that join us on Wednesday nights to actually feel a part of our church community, they need adults to show up with them, to show up at their sporting events, to go to their band concerts, to invite them over to share a meal together, and to spend time in conversation with them at youth group on Wednesday nights. Thankfully, for the last 3.5 years, our church has shown up for them, and we've had several adults that are willing to be in relationship with kids and to get to know them and invite them into more of who God is. In the last year, however, our church actually asked students to answer the call of showing up, and thankfully, they responded well. To give just a few examples of what our students have done in the last year, we were in desperate need of volunteers for our VBS program, and more than half of the volunteers were students, were middle school and high schoolers that took a week out of their summer, that changed their family vacations and their schedules to show up and hang out with elementary schoolers for the week. When we were searching for deacons, we had a youth deacon step up and become one of our church leaders, and they continue to be involved in youth group and in leadership with our deacons. When we needed people to be there for community nights so that every single moment and every single thing that we had put on was going to run smoothly, our students showed up and signed up right away to be there. When Andy Lower stood in front of the church and asked people to help hand out socks for all the sock donations that we had received, we had 10 students who showed up not once but twice to go out and get in relationship with people who are experiencing homelessness and hand out socks to make their day just a little bit brighter. When we had a family who lost their home to the fire, our students gave up their entire weekend. We had over 15 students show up to help clean, to help organize, to help provide for this family, to make sure that they had a place to stay that was comfortable and that was safe for them. Through this last year and seeing our students show up for our church, I am confident that when our church has a need, our students will be the first ones to show up and they will be the last ones to leave. It has been so incredible watching them get out of their comfort zone and to have a conversation with someone that they would never expect to have a conversation with, and wrestle with how do we see God in the midst of pain, in the midst of tragedy, in the midst of unfortunate circumstances. Our students are in that, and they are learning about that, and they are invested in that, and they're open to seeing what God can do next. It has been an incredible honor to be in the lives of these students in the last 3.5 years, but it has been even more incredible to see them understand the power of showing up, not just for their church, but for complete strangers. They have wrestled with what does it mean to see God in the midst of pain and in the midst of tragedy. They have tried to understand what homelessness looks like for people and how do we help them experience a little bit, just a little bit of who God is. They have brought their friends into this community and into this church because they understand the meaning of what it is to have deep friendships and to have friendships that are rooted in who God is. In the last year, I have seen our students learn more about God and trust more of who God is more than ever before, and I am so excited to see what happens in 2025.
Hey friends, I'm Natalie McMillan, Director of Children's Ministries, and some of you may remember me announcing last year that we had kind of a historical year for VBS. It was the first time since the pandemic that we had opened to preschool and kinder, and we had 99 kids, which was up from 60 the previous year. But you may not know some of the stories that led to that happening, and so I want to share one with you. So we were about 2 weeks before Scuba VBS was going to start, and I was out in the courtyard, and I was talking with Todd Edwards and Stacy Sohn, and I was sharing that our VBS was at capacity at about 88 kids, and I said we even have a wait list of a little more than 10 kids, and I was, saying this in a positive way, and they agreed, and then Todd Edwards made a comment and said, "That's great, it's great that we're at capacity, but wouldn't it be great if we could bring all the kids in who are on the wait list?" And I said, "Absolutely, I would love that. But I would need 2 more leaders to make that happen." And there was a pause. And then Stacy goes, well, I've been thinking about helping out. And then Todd goes, yeah, I could help out. And all of a sudden, I was thrilled. I was thrilled because them saying that suddenly opened this up to the remaining kids on the wait list. And that's what brought us up to the 99 kids that we had at VBS. But that's not the end of the story. In the middle of VBS, a 5th grader came up to me. And to give this a little context, at VBS, each day we talk about God sightings. Where do we see God active in our world? And she came up to me at lunch and she said, Miss Natalie, I just want to let you know today that you are my God sighting. Felt so touched. But she went on to say, because you allowed me and my sister to come into VBS, because she'd been one of the kids on the wait list, her and her sister. And the thing is, it was super touching that she took the initiative to communicate that, and it was awesome. But it really wasn't me. It was Todd and Stacy who allowed for her to come to VBS. And I'm so grateful that they stepped up to meet that need. As we celebrate what happened in 2024 and as we look toward 2025, I just want to offer the thought, there are kids and families in our community who are looking towards our church, our campus, our VBS, our other programs to try it out, to come in, hoping to be a part of it. Are we ready? Are we poised to accommodate them, to meet them there? I invite you to join me in the posture of actually being ready, like looking for them, being ready to meet them with love and welcome, and the readiness to spot the need and step in where it's needed.